Let me share with you a fundamental truth that many find difficult to grasp. Every power you've been seeking outside yourself has always resided within you. Every change you've tried to create through external means can only truly come from within. You are the power you seek. Many of you have been searching in endless places for what has always been within you. You've looked to other people, to circumstances, to conditions, to external powers, never realizing that you yourself are the very power you seek. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and this kingdom contains all power. Consider this: every great transformation in human history began in the consciousness of one individual who recognized their inner power. Every magnificent achievement, every profound change, every remarkable manifestation started not in the external world, but in the inner world of imagination and consciousness. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to life. You stop seeking power outside yourself. You stop trying to change external conditions. You begin to recognize that all change must first occur within your own consciousness. Let me tell you something vital about this inner power. It's not something you need to develop or acquire. It's not something you need to earn or deserve. It's your natural state of being. You were born with all the power you will ever need. The only question is whether you will recognize and use it. Here's a profound truth about this power within you. It's not affected by external conditions. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't require permission or validation from others. It is the very essence of your being, waiting to be recognized and expressed. Think about this. Every time you've tried to change something in your external world without first changing your consciousness, you've been looking in the wrong place. You've been trying to alter effects while ignoring the cause. All cause is consciousness, all else is effect. This principle of consciousness as cause is the foundation of all genuine transformation. Until you grasp this fully, you'll continue looking in the wrong place for the power to change your life. Let me share with you what's actually happening when you try to change things in the external world. While you're manipulating effects, struggling with conditions, fighting against circumstances, you're completely ignoring the one and only power that can actually create change, your own consciousness. Many of you have been taught to believe that external conditions have power over you. But I tell you this, conditions have only the power you give them through your consciousness. The moment you withdraw power from external conditions and recognize it within yourself, everything begins to change. Consider this: every condition in your life right now is nothing more than your consciousness pushed out. Your relationships, your financial situation, your health, your success or lack of it. All of these are merely reflecting what you've accepted as true in consciousness. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to change. You stop trying to manipulate effects and start focusing on the only place where real change is possible, within your own consciousness. Let me tell you something crucial about this inner power. It doesn't respond to wishes, hopes, or desperate wanting. It responds only to what you accept as true in consciousness. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is merely an effect, a shadow of what you accepted as real. Here's a profound truth about your consciousness. It is right now creating your future experiences. The thoughts you're thinking, the assumptions you're making, the beliefs you're holding, all these are shaping your tomorrow with the precision of a mathematical formula. Think about this. If you continue to accept your current beliefs and assumptions as true, you'll continue to experience their reflection in your world. Real change can only begin when you change what you're accepting as true in consciousness. The very fact that you're hearing these words now is evidence that you're ready to stop looking outside yourself for power. Your deeper self has brought you to this understanding because you're prepared to recognize and use the power that has always been within you. This recognition and use of your inner power requires a complete reversal of everything you've been taught about cause and effect. You must stop seeing the world as the cause of your experience and recognize it as the effect of your consciousness. Let me share with you what happens when you truly recognize this power within you. First, all blame ceases. All victimhood dissolves. All excuses disappear. You can no longer point to external conditions as the cause of your experience because you recognize that they are merely reflecting your own consciousness. Many of you say you want change while continuing to give power to external conditions. But I tell you this, as long as you believe that anything outside yourself has power over you, you're looking in the wrong place. The power to change any condition lies solely in your consciousness. Consider this every time you say, I can't. Because every time you point to external conditions as reasons for your limitations, every time you blame circumstances for your situation, you're giving away your power. You're looking for power where it cannot be found, outside yourself. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire experience of life. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start recognizing yourself as the creator of your experience. You stop trying to change things out there and start changing your consciousness in here. Let me tell you something vital about this inner power. It works with absolute precision. It doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't play favorites. It simply materializes whatever you accept as true in consciousness. Your world is nothing more than your consciousness objectified. Here's a profound truth about your inner power. It's working right now, in this very moment. Even as you hear these words, your consciousness is creating your future experiences. The question is not whether this power is working, but what are you allowing it to create? I think about this. Every condition you now experience, whether wanted or unwanted, was created by this same power within you. The only difference between what you want and what you don't want is what you've accepted as true in consciousness. The very circumstances you've been fighting against were created by your own consciousness. Not consciously, not intentionally, but through your unconscious assumptions and beliefs about what's possible or true for you. These unconscious assumptions and beliefs are the hidden architects of your experience. While you've been looking outside yourself for the power to change, these inner assumptions have been silently shaping every aspect of your life. Let me share with you what's actually happening beneath the surface of your conscious mind. Every moment of every day, your unconscious assumptions are actively creating your experience. They're determining what you'll attract, what you'll repel, what you'll achieve, what you'll fail at, all without your conscious awareness. Many of you try to create change through conscious effort while maintaining unconscious assumptions that contradict your desires. But I tell you this, your unconscious assumptions will always override your conscious wishes. The power lies not in what you want, but in what you unconsciously assume to be true. Consider this: if you consciously desire wealth while unconsciously assuming that money is hard to come by, which assumption do you think your inner power will manifest? If you consciously want love while unconsciously assuming you're unworthy, which belief will your experience reflect? When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your approach to change. You stop focusing solely on conscious desires and start examining the unconscious assumptions that have been really running your life. Let me tell you something crucial about these unconscious assumptions. They weren't chosen by you. They were absorbed from your environment, accepted without question, integrated into your consciousness before you were old enough to examine them critically. Here's a profound truth about your unconscious assumptions. They can be changed. Just as they were once accepted into consciousness, they can be revised, replaced, or completely dissolved through the power of your wonderful human imagination. Think about this. Every limitation you now experience, every obstacle you face, every problem that seems to resist solution is nothing more than unconscious assumption manifesting in your world. Change the assumption and you must change the manifestation. The very fact that you're struggling with certain conditions is evidence that you're maintaining unconscious assumptions that support those conditions. Your inner power is working perfectly. It's giving you exactly what you've assumed to be true. This process of changing your unconscious assumptions is the true work of transformation. It's not about trying harder in the outer world. It's about revising what you've accepted as truth in your inner world. Let me share with you how these unconscious assumptions actually change. It's not through force or struggle. It's not through positive thinking or affirmations. It's through the deliberate use of your imagination while in a state akin to sleep, that drowsy, dreamy state where your conscious mind relaxes grip on reality. Many of you try to change your assumptions through sheer willpower while remaining fully awake and analytical. But I tell you this, the subconscious mind cannot be commanded through force. It can only be persuaded through the language it understands, the language of feeling and imagination. Consider this: every assumption you now hold was initially accepted in a state of unquestioning receptivity. You weren't analyzing or arguing when you first absorbed your current assumptions. You were simply accepting, feeling, experiencing. This same state of receptivity is required to change them. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your practice of transformation. You stop trying to force change through conscious effort and start using your imagination in a state of relaxed receptivity to impress new assumptions upon your subconscious mind. Let me tell you something vital about this process. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what you're vividly imagining and what you're actually experiencing. When you imagine a state akin to sleep, feeling the reality of your desired state, your subconscious accepts it as fact. Here's a profound truth about changing assumptions. It happens not through repetition, but through the intensity of feeling. One deeply felt imaginal act, experienced in a state of complete acceptance, can do more to change your assumptions than years of conscious affirmations. Think about this: every night when you fall asleep, you enter naturally into the perfect state for changing your assumptions. This drowsy state between waking and sleeping is your workshop, where you can impress new patterns upon your subconscious mind with the least resistance. The very sleep that you've been using merely for rest is actually your greatest opportunity for transformation. In that state of relaxed consciousness, you have direct access to the power that shapes your entire experience of life. This drowsy state, this twilight zone between waking and sleeping, is your workshop for transformation. It's here that you can most effectively plant the seeds of new assumptions that will reshape your entire world. Let me share with you exactly what happens when you enter this state with purpose. As your conscious mind begins to slow down, as your analytical thinking subsides, you enter a state where your subconscious mind becomes incredibly receptive to new impressions. This is the state where real change begins. Many of you rush through your days and collapse into unconscious sleep at night, never realizing that you're missing the most powerful opportunity for transformation. But I tell you this: those few moments before sleep, when properly used, can do more to change your life than all your daytime efforts combined. Consider this: every great mystic, every spiritual teacher who understood the laws of mind emphasized the importance of the state akin to sleep. They knew that in this state, the conscious mind's resistance is lowered, and new assumptions can be planted directly into the subconscious. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to sleep. You stop seeing bedtime as merely the end of your day and start recognizing it as the beginning of your transformation. You begin to use those precious moments before sleep deliberately and purposefully. Let me tell you something crucial about this state. It's not about forcing yourself to stay awake or struggling to maintain consciousness. It's about gently using those natural moments of drowsiness to impress your desired assumptions upon your subconscious mind. Here's a profound truth about this process: your last 5 minutes before sleep are worth more than all your daily affirmations combined. What you impress upon your subconscious mind in those moments will work night and day to reshape your experience. Think about this: while you sleep, your subconscious mind continues to work with whatever assumption you impressed upon it before sleep. It doesn't question, it doesn't argue. It simply accepts and begins to materialize what you've impressed upon it as true. The very sleep that most people use to escape their problems can become your most powerful tool for solving them. When you use the moments before sleep to impress new assumptions upon your subconscious mind, you're literally programming tomorrow's experiences. This programming of your subconscious mind is not what most people think it is. It's not about repeating words or forcing yourself to believe something. It's about feeling the reality of your desired state as you drift into sleep. Let me share with you exactly how this programming works. As you lie in bed, allowing yourself to drift towards sleep, you begin to feel the reality of your desire fulfilled. You're not thinking about it, you're not affirming it, you're experiencing it as if it were already true. Many of you try to program your subconscious mind through force or repetition. But I tell you this: the subconscious mind responds not to words but to feelings, not to wishes but to assumptions of reality. It accepts whatever you feel to be true in that drowsy state. Consider this: when you dream at night, you don't question the reality of your dream while you're in it. You simply experience it as real. This same unquestioning acceptance is what you must achieve with your conscious imagining as you drift into sleep. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your nightly practice. You stop trying to convince yourself of anything and simply allow yourself to feel the naturalness of your desire fulfilled. You experience it as if it were already a fact in your world. Let me tell you something vital about this process. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you're vividly imagining and what you're actually experiencing. When you feel the reality of your desire as you drift into sleep, your subconscious accepts it as a present fact. Here's a profound truth about programming your subconscious. It's not about the length of time you spend, but the depth of feeling you achieve. One moment of complete acceptance in that drowsy state is worth more than hours of conscious affirmation. Think about this. Every night, as you fall asleep, you're programming your subconscious mind whether you realize it or not. If you fall asleep feeling worried, you're programming worry. If you fall asleep feeling grateful, you're programming gratitude. Whatever you feel as real while falling asleep becomes the seed of tomorrow's manifestation. The very state that most people waste in unconscious worry or random thoughts can become your most powerful tool for conscious creation. When you use those precious moments before sleep to feel the reality of your desire fulfilled, you're literally shaping your future while you sleep. This conscious creation while you sleep is the most natural and effortless way to transform your life. You don't need to struggle or strain. You simply need to master the art of falling asleep in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. Let me share with you what actually happens when you fall asleep feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled. Your subconscious mind takes that feeling, that assumption of completion, and works all night long to bring about the conditions necessary for its manifestation in your physical world. Many of you wake up each morning wondering what the day will bring. But I tell you this, what your day brings was determined by how you fell asleep the night before. The assumptions you took with you into sleep are already working to materialize themselves in your experience. Consider this: every morning when you wake up, your world is slightly different from the one you left when you went to sleep. These subtle changes are the result of what you impressed upon your subconscious mind as you drifted off to sleep. Your morning begins with the harvest of your evening's planting. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to sleep. You start treating those moments before sleep as sacred, as your most precious opportunity for creation. You become selective about what you allow into your consciousness as you prepare for sleep. Let me tell you something crucial about this nighttime creation. It requires no effort on your part once you've impressed your desire upon your subconscious mind. While you sleep, all the power of your subconsciousness works to bring about what you've accepted as true. Here's a profound truth about sleeping in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. It bypasses all the resistance and doubts of your conscious mind. In that drowsy state, when your analytical mind is quiet, you can impress new patterns upon your subconscious with remarkable ease. Think about this: every great invention, every solution to a complex problem, every creative breakthrough often comes after a night's sleep. This is because the subconscious mind, working with what you've impressed upon it, continues to solve problems and create solutions while you sleep. The very sleep that most people see as merely a time of rest is actually your greatest opportunity for conscious creation. When you fall asleep feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled, you set in motion forces that work tirelessly to bring about its manifestation. These forces set in motion during sleep are far more powerful and far-reaching than anything you could accomplish through conscious effort during your waking hours. They work on levels beyond your conscious understanding to rearrange the entire pattern of your life. Let me share with you exactly what happens when these forces are activated by your assumption of the wish fulfilled. While you sleep, your subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, begins to rearrange circumstances, inspire actions, and draw to you everything necessary for the fulfillment of what you've accepted as true. Many of you try to figure out how your desires will be fulfilled, trying to plan and manipulate external circumstances. But I tell you this, the way will be found by forces far wiser than your conscious reasoning mind. Your only task is to fall asleep in the assumption that what you desire is already fact. Consider this, when you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see how it's growing. You don't try to figure out how it will become a flower or a tree. You simply plant it and let nature take its course. The same principle applies to the seeds you plant in consciousness before sleep. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to manifestation. You stop trying to make things happen and start allowing them to happen. You stop planning the way and start trusting the wisdom of your subconscious mind to find the way. Let me tell you something vital about these creative forces. They work according to a law that never fails. Just as a seed must grow according to its nature, what you impress upon your subconscious mind must manifest according to its nature. The law is infallible. Here's a profound truth about the forces set in motion during sleep. They operate independently of your conscious beliefs or doubts. Once you've impressed your desire upon your subconscious mind, these forces begin their work whether you believe they will or not. Think about this. Every morning when you wake up, events have already been set in motion based on what you impressed upon your subconscious mind the night before. People are being moved, circumstances are being arranged, opportunities are being created, all without your conscious effort. The very sleep that most people see as an escape from their problems is actually the time when solutions are being created, paths are being cleared, and bridges are being built to bring about what you've accepted as true in consciousness. These solutions and paths are created through a wisdom far greater than your conscious reasoning mind. It's the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind, which knows exactly how to bring about the conditions necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. Let me share with you what's actually happening when this infinite intelligence goes to work. While you sleep, it begins to influence every person, every circumstance, every condition necessary for the fulfillment of what you've impressed upon it. It knows every possible path to your desire's fulfillment and chooses the most efficient one. Many of you worry about the how of your desire's fulfillment, trying to figure out every step and detail. But I tell you this, the way will be found by a power that sees all and knows all. Your conscious mind, with its limited understanding, cannot comprehend the infinite ways in which your desire can be fulfilled. Consider this, when you send a letter, you don't concern yourself with how it will reach its destination. You don't worry about which postal workers will handle it, which trucks will carry it, which routes it will take. You simply address it and trust in a system that knows how to deliver it. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to manifestation. You stop trying to plan every detail and start trusting in the infinite intelligence that knows exactly how to bring about your desire's fulfillment. Let me tell you something crucial about this infinite intelligence. It doesn't need your help or guidance. It doesn't need your suggestions or advice. It simply needs your assumption that what you desire is already fact, and it will find the most natural way to bring it about. Here's a profound truth about how these solutions are created. They often come in ways you could never have consciously imagined. The path to your desire's fulfillment might be completely different from what you expected, but it will always be the most efficient and natural way. Think about this. Every great achievement in human history came about through this same process. The conscious mind held a desire, impressed it upon the subconscious, and the infinite intelligence found a way to bring it into manifestation. The same power that has fulfilled countless desires throughout history is available to you right now. The very intelligence that keeps your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and your body functioning without conscious attention is the same intelligence that knows exactly how to fulfill your desires. All it needs is your assumption of the end result as fact. Tonight I leave you with this final truth. You've been looking in the wrong place, because the power to change has always been within you. It's not in external conditions, not in other people, not in circumstances, but in your own consciousness. Remember, every night as you drift off to sleep, you have a divine appointment with your own infinite power. Use those precious moments wisely. Don't waste them in idle thinking or worried contemplation. Fall asleep feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled, knowing that while you sleep, forces beyond your comprehension are working to bring about its manifestation. The very fact that you've heard these words tonight is evidence that you're ready to stop looking outside yourself for power. You're prepared to recognize and use the infinite power that has always resided within you. Your own wonderful human imagination, properly used in that drowsy state before sleep, is all the power you need to transform your entire world. Go forth now with this knowledge, and tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember you are entering your workshop of creation. Feel the naturalness, the reality, the tangible presence of your desire fulfilled. Fall asleep in this assumption, and let the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind do its perfect work. For I tell you this with absolute certainty, the power you've been seeking has always been within you. You've simply been looking in the wrong place. Now you know where to find it and how to use it. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and watch your world transform in ways your conscious mind could never have planned. That is the law and the promise that it cannot fail. I understand that this statement may seem startling, perhaps even unsettling to some of you. You might be thinking, Neville, what do you mean by a simulation? Surely this world I see, touch, and experience is real. And to that, I say, yes, it is real, but perhaps not in the way you have always believed it to be. Let us begin by understanding what I mean when I say you are in a simulation. I am not speaking of some technological construct, some computer-generated reality as depicted in your science fiction tales. No, the simulation I speak of is far more profound, far more encompassing. It is the separation, the illusion of limitation, the dream of reality that we have collectively agreed to experience. You see, my dear friends, at the deepest level of reality, we are all one. We are individualized expressions of the one divine consciousness, the one God, the one I A. This divine consciousness is infinite, eternal, and all-encompassing. It knows no limitations, no boundaries, no separation. It is pure potential, pure creativity, pure love. Yet, here we find ourselves experiencing a world of seeming separation, of apparent limitations, of perceived duality. We experience ourselves as separate beings, distinct from each other and from the world around us. We perceive time as linear, space as fixed, and our abilities as limited. This, my friends, is the simulation. But why, you might ask, would we choose to experience such a simulation? Why would infinite consciousness choose to experience limitation? The answer, paradoxically, lies in the nature of infinity itself. For infinity to know itself, it must experience all possibilities, including the possibility of limitation. And so, we as individualized expressions of this infinite consciousness have chosen to immerse ourselves in this simulation of separation, to experience the thrill of rediscovering our true, infinite nature. Now, let us delve deeper into the nature of this simulation. The simulation is not something external to you. It is not a prison in which you are trapped. Rather, it is a creation of consciousness itself, your consciousness. You are not in the simulation is in you. It is a dream you are dreaming. A game you are playing with yourself. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very body you inhabit, all of these are projections of your consciousness. They are not causes but effects. They do not define you, they reflect you. They are the outward pictures of your inner assumptions, your beliefs, your state of consciousness. This understanding is crucial, for it is the key to exiting the simulation. You see, you cannot exit the simulation by trying to change the outward pictures. You cannot break free by fighting against the shadows on the wall of Plato's cave. The only way out is in by changing your consciousness, by awakening to your true nature as the dreamer of the dream. So how do we begin this process of awakening, of exiting the simulation? The first step is awareness. You must become aware of the simulation, aware of the dream-like nature of your reality. This awareness begins with observing your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about yourself and the world around you. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue, to the story you tell yourself about who you are and what is possible for you. Notice how these inner conversations shape your experience of reality. Observe how your beliefs and assumptions manifest as the circumstances of your life. This observation must be done without judgment, without trying to change anything at first. Simply observe. Become the witness to your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own assumptions. As you do this, you will begin to see the patterns, the habitual ways of thinking that have shaped your experience of reality. You will start to notice how your beliefs about limitation, about lack, about unworthiness, have manifested as experiences of limitation, lack, and unworthiness in your life. You will begin to see how your fears, your doubts, your anxieties have taken form in the world around you. This awareness is the first crack in the facade of the simulation. It is the beginning of your awakening. For in becoming aware of these patterns, you also become aware of your power to change them. You begin to realize that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your reality. As this awareness deepens, you will come to a profound realization that you are not the thinker of your thoughts, but the awareness behind the thoughts. You are not the beliefs, the assumptions, the fears, or the doubts. You are the consciousness that observes them. This realization is a crucial step in exiting the simulation. For as long as you identify with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with your assumptions, you remain trapped in the simulation. But when you recognize yourself as the awareness behind these mental constructs, you begin to free yourself from their grip. Now, my dear friends, as we continue on this journey of awakening, of exiting the simulation, we come to the next crucial step, the practice of detachment. Detachment in this context does not mean a lack of care or involvement in your life. Rather, it means detaching from your identification with the characters and circumstances of your dream. You see, within the simulation, we tend to identify strongly with our roles, our professions, our relationships, our possessions, our achievements, our problems. We say, I am a doctor, I am a mother, I am poor, I am successful, and so on. But these are not who you are. They are roles you are playing, costumes you are wearing in the grand drama of life. To exit the simulation, you must learn to detach from these identifications. You must realize that you are not the character in the dream, but the dreamer of the dream. You are not the wave, but the ocean. You are not the role, but the actor playing the role. This detachment allows you to observe your life experiences from a higher perspective. It enables you to see the dreamlike nature of your reality more clearly. It frees you from the emotional entanglements that keep you bound to the simulation. Practice saying to yourself, I am not this body. I am not these thoughts. I am not these emotions. I am not these circumstances. I am the awareness that observes all these things. Do this regularly, especially when you find yourself caught up in the drama of life. As you practice this detachment, you will find that you can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace. You will be less reactive, less easily swayed by the ups and downs of life. You will begin to experience a deep sense of peace and freedom, regardless of external circumstances. Now, my friends, as we delve deeper into the process of exiting the simulation, we come to a powerful technique, the practice of revision. Revision is not merely about changing your memories or rewriting your past. It is about recognizing your power as the author of your life story and consciously choosing to write a new narrative. You see, within the simulation, we often feel bound by our past experiences, our memories, our habitual patterns of thought and behavior. We believe that because something happened in the past, it must continue to influence our present and future. But this is part of the illusion. In truth, there is only the eternal now. The past exists only as memory. Memory is malleable. The future exists only as imagination. All power, all possibility exists in the present moment. And in this moment, you have the power to revise your story. Here's how to practice revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If there were any events that were not to your liking, revise them. See them unfolding in a way that pleases you. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of this revised version of events. This is not mere fantasy or wishful thinking. Remember, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By revising events in your imagination, you are literally rewriting the energetic imprint of those events in your consciousness. And as you change your consciousness, you change your world. Extend this practice of revision to your entire life story. Are there past events that still trouble you? Revise them in your imagination. See them unfolding in a way that empowers you, that brings you joy. Feel the emotions of this new version of events as if they were real, because in the realm of consciousness, they are real. As you engage in this practice of revision, you are doing more than just changing your memories. You are exercising your power as the author of your life story. You are recognizing that your reality is not fixed, but fluid. You are stepping out of the linear time construct of the simulation and into the eternal now of true reality. Now, my dear listeners, as we continue our journey towards exiting the simulation, we come to a fundamental truth that you must not only understand but embody: the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming or escapism. It is the very workshop wherein you fashion your reality. In the simulation, we have been conditioned to believe that imagination is separate from reality. We say things like, "It's just your imagination," as if to dismiss its importance. But I tell you now, your imagination is the most real, the most substantial thing in your experience. It is, in fact, the very substance of reality itself. When you imagine, you are not creating images in your mind. You are experiencing reality at its most fundamental level. You are engaging with the pure potential of consciousness, shaping it with your attention and your assumption. To exit the simulation, you must learn to use your imagination consciously and deliberately. You must treat your imaginal acts as real events, for in the realm of consciousness, they are real events. They are causes set in motion that must, by universal law, produce effects in your outer world. Begin by choosing a desire, something you wish to experience in your life. Now close your eyes and create a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Make it as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents associated with this scene. Most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if this scene were actually happening in your physical reality. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having your desire fulfilled. For it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. Now, here's the crucial part. You must persist in this imaginal act. You must return to it again and again, dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must live from this new assumption, this new state of consciousness, regardless of any contradictory evidence presented by your physical senses. Remember, the physical world you see around you is the effect, not the cause. It is the shadow, not the substance. By persisting in your imaginal act, by consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are changing the cause. And when the cause changes, the effect must change. This, my friends, is how you begin to consciously create your reality. This is how you start to exit the simulation. You are no longer a passive participant in a pre-programmed reality. You are the active creator, shaping your world with the power of your imagination. As you practice this, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Circumstances will shift, opportunities will arise. People will respond to you differently. These are signs that you are starting to break free from the old patterns of the simulation. But here's a word of caution. Do not become attached to these outer changes. Do not seek for signs or try to make things happen. Your only task is to persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Your job is simply to imagine and believe, to live from the end, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled. As you do this, you are literally reprogramming the simulation. You are rewriting the code of your reality. Now, let us delve deeper into another crucial aspect of exiting the simulation, the understanding and application of the law of assumption. This law states that your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, shape your reality. To assume a state is to experience that state. Within the simulation, we often feel that we are at the mercy of external circumstances. We believe that we must change our actions or our environment to change our lives. But this is part of the illusion. The truth is, all change begins within. It begins with a change in your assumptions. To exit the simulation, you must become conscious of your assumptions and deliberately choose new ones that align with your desires. This is not about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about a fundamental shift in your state of being. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you must assume the state of a wealthy person. How would a wealthy person think? How would they feel? How would they carry themselves? Assume that state now, regardless of your current bank balance. Live from that assumption. If you desire a loving relationship, assume the state of someone who is deeply loved and cherished. Feel that love now, even if you're currently single. Live from the assumption that love is your natural state. Remember, in the realm of consciousness, there is no process. There is only immediacy. The moment you assume a state, you are in that state. The outer world may take time to reflect this change, but in consciousness, it is instantaneous. This understanding liberates you from the linear time construct of the simulation. You no longer need to wait for your desires to manifest. You can experience them now, in your imagination, which is the reality of all realities. As you practice living from your desired state, you may notice a peculiar phenomenon. The gap between your imaginal acts and your physical reality will begin to close. What you imagine will start to manifest with increasing speed and accuracy. This is a sign that you are loosening the bonds of the simulation. Now, my dear friends, as we continue our journey towards exiting the simulation, we must address a critical concept, the nature of your true self. Within the simulation, we identify with our physical bodies, our personalities, our personal histories. But these are not your true self. They are aspects of the character you are playing in this grand drama of life. Your true self is the awareness behind all these things. It is the observer, the witness, the knower of all your experiences. This true self is not bound by the limitations of the physical world. It is not subject to birth or death, to change or decay. It is eternal, infinite, and all-encompassing. To exit the simulation, you must shift your identity from the character to the actor, from the dream to the dreamer. This shift in identity is not something you can achieve through intellectual understanding alone. It must be experienced, realized at the deepest level of your being. One powerful way to facilitate this shift is through the practice of self-inquiry. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, who am I? Don't try to answer this question intellectually. Instead, turn your attention inward. Look for the source of the I thought. Who is this I that is experiencing all these things? As you inquire deeply, you may come to a startling realization that you cannot find a separate individual self. The more you look for it, the more it seems to disappear. What remains is pure awareness, boundless and free. This realization is not an intellectual concept, but a lived experience. It is the recognition of your true nature as pure consciousness. And this recognition is the key to exiting the simulation. For when you know yourself as pure awareness, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the physical world. You are no longer identified with the character in the dream. You are the dreamer, capable of shaping the dream at will. Now let us explore another powerful tool for exiting the simulation, the practice of living in the end. This technique involves assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, living as if your desire has already been realized. You see, within the simulation, we have been conditioned to believe that we must take action in the physical world to achieve our goals. We think that if we work hard enough, struggle enough, we will eventually reach our desired end. But this approach keeps us trapped in the illusion of linear time and cause and effect. To exit the simulation, you must realize that the end is not something to be achieved in the future. The end is a state of consciousness to be assumed now. When you live in the end, you collapse time. You bring the future into the present moment. Here's how to practice living in the end. Choose a desire, something you wish to experience in your life. Now, instead of thinking about how to achieve this desire, imagine that it has already been fulfilled. How would you feel? How would you think? How would you act if this desire were already a reality in your life? Assume those feelings, thoughts, and actions now. Live from that state of consciousness. Speak, think, and act as the person who already has what you desire. This is not pretending or faking it. This is assuming a new state of being, a new state of consciousness. As you live in the end, you may notice that your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your new inner state. People, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your assumed state will be drawn to you. This is not magic or coincidence. It is the natural result of aligning your consciousness with your desire. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By living in the end, you are changing the cause, your state of consciousness, and the effect, your outer reality, must change to match it. Now, my friends, as we delve deeper into the process of exiting simulation, we must address the role of your emotions. Within the simulation, we often believe that our emotions are reactions to external events. We think that we feel happy because something good happened, or sad because something bad happened. But this is part of the illusion. Your emotions are not reactions to the world around you. They are creative forces that shape your reality. They are the energy that gives life to your thoughts and assumptions. To exit the simulation, you must learn to use your emotions consciously and deliberately. Instead of allowing your emotions to be triggered by external events, choose the emotions that align with your desired reality. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the love that you would feel if your desires were already fulfilled. This may seem challenging at first, especially if your current circumstances seem to contradict your desired reality. But remember, your circumstances are the effect, not the cause. By choosing to feel the emotions of your wish fulfilled, you are changing the cause, and the effect must follow. Practice feeling these positive emotions regardless of your external circumstances. When you wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes, fill yourself with the feeling of joy, of gratitude, of love. Carry these feelings with you throughout your day. Let them inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. As you do this, you may notice a shift in your perception of the world around you. Things that used to bother you may no longer affect you. Opportunities that you didn't see before may suddenly become apparent. This is a sign that you are beginning to see through the illusion of the simulation. Now let us discuss another crucial aspect of exiting the simulation, the understanding of your oneness with all of creation. Within the simulation, we experience ourselves as separate beings distinct from each other and from the world around us. But this separation is an illusion, a fundamental aspect of the simulation itself. In truth, we are all one. We are individualized expressions of the one divine consciousness. Just as the waves are not separate from the ocean, we are not separate from the infinite field of consciousness that is the source of all creation. To exit the simulation, you must not only understand this truth intellectually, but experience it directly. One powerful way to do this is through the practice of meditation. As you sit in silence, focusing your attention inward, you may begin to experience a dissolution of the boundaries of your individual self. You may have moments where you feel a deep connection with all of life, where the sense of separation falls away, and you experience yourself as pure awareness. These moments are glimpses of reality beyond the simulation. Cultivate these experiences. Seek them out not just in formal meditation, but in your daily life. Look for the divine in everything and everyone around you. Recognize that the same consciousness that is looking out through your eyes is looking out through the eyes of every other being. As you embrace this understanding of oneness, you will find that your attitude towards others and towards life itself begins to change. You will naturally become more compassionate, more loving, more understanding. You will begin to see that by helping others, you are helping yourself, for there is no true separation between you and others. This realization of oneness is a powerful key to exiting the simulation. For when you know yourself as one with all of creation, you tap into the infinite power and intelligence of the universe. You realize that all the power you have been seeking outside yourself has been within you all along. Now, my dear friends, as we near the conclusion of our exploration, let us address one final, crucial point: the importance of persistence and faith in your journey to exit the simulation. This path we have outlined is not always easy. There will be times when the illusion of the simulation seems overwhelmingly real, when your old habits of thought and emotion try to reassert themselves. In these moments, you must persist. You must hold fast to your new understanding, to your new state of consciousness. Remember, the simulation has been your lived reality for so long. It will not disappear overnight. But with persistence and faith, its hold on you will gradually loosen. Have faith in the process. Have faith in your true nature as pure consciousness. Have faith in your power to shape your reality. This faith is not blind belief, but a deep knowing that comes from your direct experience of these truths. Persist in your imaginal acts. Persist in living from the end. Persist in feeling the emotions of your wish fulfilled. Persist in your realization of oneness with all of creation. Even when your senses argue against it, even when the outer world seems unchanged, persist. For it is through this persistence that you reprogram the simulation. It is through this persistence that you align your consciousness with the reality beyond the simulation. It is through this persistence that you ultimately exit the simulation and step into the full realization of your true nature. My dear friends, as we come to the end of our discussion, I want you to remember this. You are not trapped in the simulation. You are the creator of the simulation. You have the power to shape it, to transform it, and ultimately to transcend it. The journey of exiting the simulation is not about escaping from your current reality. It's about awakening to the greater reality of which your current experience is but a small part. It's about remembering your true nature as infinite, eternal consciousness. As you leave here today, carry this knowledge with you. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your assumptions, your emotions. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Recognize your oneness with all of creation. And above all, persist. Persist in your new understanding. Persist in your new state of being. For it is through this persistence that you will ultimately break free from the limitations of the simulation and step into the full realization of your divine nature. Remember, you are not in the simulation. The simulation is in you. You are the dreamer, not the dream. You are the creator, not the creation. Embrace this truth, live from this truth, and watch as your world transforms around you. Go forth now, armed with this knowledge, empowered by this understanding. The journey of awakening, of exiting the simulation begins now, and it begins with you. Thank you, and may your journey be filled with joy, wonder, and the thrill of rediscovering your true, infinite nature.